Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. On today's episode, we're going to go ahead and get on the roof and clean our solar panels after 3 years. So if you followed this channel, you'll know that we installed solar on our roof about 3 years ago. And most recently, we just installed 2 Tesla Powerwall batteries on our house. So now after 3 years of having solar, we're going to get up on the roof. We're going to see how those panels look. We're going to see how well they clean up. And we're also going to see after a few days if they produce any more power than they have for the past 3 years. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and let's see the results. Okay everybody, so we are going to just about get up on our roof right now. And we are going to go ahead and take a look at the solar panels. We're going to see how dirty they are. I was up there about 3 months ago and I could not believe the amount of pollen that was stuck to the solar panels. Even after it rained, it just looked like it was not going to be coming off. Now, I haven't really taken a good look at those solar panels since then, so I'm really curious to see if they've actually cleaned off a little bit from the weather that we've had recently, or if they're still looking miserable like they did back in the spring when we had all that pollen and allergy season. So today we're actually going to use some really state-of-the-art tools to clean the solar panels, something that nobody has ever heard of before. And that is a microfiber pad on the end of a stick. And this is actually just something that's recommended to clean solar panels. You want something that's obviously non-abrasive, so you don't want anything that's going to be stiff, or you don't want anything that's like bristly with brushes on it. You want something that's going to be soft, similar to what you would use to wash your car, even a little bit softer than that actually, because you're not really trying to scrub all that hard. You're really just trying to break up any type of dirt that might be on there. But of course, you're not going to be using just a brush. You're actually going to use something like this, which is, in this case, I just have some, according to the Solaria website, which is the brand of my panels, you have to use a all-purpose detergent, which is very vague, but basically what I have in here is just some dish soap, which was recommended by a lot of sites, just using some basic dish soap. And I got this in just a standard like foam cannon that you would get. You can pretty much buy these anywhere nowadays. Just a foam cannon that goes on the end of a garden hose. And this will make it easy for me to get up on the roof, have water, soap in one container, and then of course the brush in the other hand as well. So if you attempt to do this yourself, make sure you be absolutely careful when it comes to getting up on your roof and doing this. And of course, if you're not comfortable with any of the aspects of getting up on your roof and having things in your hand and possibly being a little bit off balance, do not attempt this at all. So anyway, let's go ahead and get up on the roof. Let's take a look at the solar panels, see what they currently look like, and then we'll see what we could do to get them cleaned up. Okay, well, I am off the roof. It is hot out today. I am soaked right now. And I will admit it is a little scarier to be up there trying to, when you're cleaning the panels than just being on the roof. I'm on the roof all the time for other reasons, and going up there just to clean the panels is actually a little bit scary. So I'm kind of glad I got it done though. Maybe it'll last a few more years. They were pretty dirty. Not as dirty as they were a few months ago when I saw them, but they definitely were, pretty dirty. So I'm kind of glad I got up there and did it. We're going to give this a few days, maybe even a few weeks. Let the rain kind of wash off whatever else might be up there, any residue or anything that may have been caused from me soaping it. But I made sure that I sprayed it down real good after I was done with the soap. Tried to get off as much as I possibly could. Let's go ahead and wait for those results to come in, and then we'll go from there, and I'll update you when we get there. All right, everybody, well, you join me now here in the studio to kind of go over some of the results of cleaning the solar panels and what we benefited out of it, if we benefited anything out of cleaning the solar panels, and is it really worth it?
So we're going to go over some numbers here just to kind of get an idea. Now, I know ahead of time that we are not looking at perfect, exact results here, and that there are some discrepancies and a lot of variables in why these numbers may not be accurate. But really, we're just trying to get an overall picture of, could this benefit you if you clean your solar panels, and by roughly how much? And we're just going to try to take an average and get an idea of exactly what we're looking at when it comes to cleaning your solar panels, and is there a benefit. So going back, we cleaned the solar panels in June of this year. So June 2023 was when I shot the video of cleaning the solar panels on the roof of my house. And I know I was going to do some couple days and just kind of throw those numbers together and give you those results to see if anything was better or worse. But honestly, that's not really enough of a timeline to kind of give you an idea of whether or not it's an accurate portrayal of actually cleaning your solar panels. So that was June of 2023. We are now in November of 2023. Today's actually Thanksgiving, so happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody out there. So what we're going to do is actually going to look at these numbers from July, August, September, October, and we're going to look at numbers on a couple different ways and see if there seems to be correlation to cleaning the solar panels, or is it really just a bunch of crap and the solar panels get cleaned enough just by typical weather. Now, obviously, where you live, it's all going to depend on whether or not cleaning the solar panels makes more sense. If you live in an area that doesn't get a lot of rain to clean the panels, then you might have more negative effects from the panels not being cleaned. Where I live, close to the beach in South Carolina, we have quite a bit of rain, especially during the summer months where we could get just random rain showers at any time of the day. And so the panels do tend to clean off relatively quickly. Of course, we do have some pretty nasty allergy seasons here. So back in June, our allergy season was quite high, or at least May, it was pretty bad. And actually now in November, we still have very nice warm weather. It's actually going to be in the 60s today. So we do have some of that pollen season still coming around even towards this late into the year. But anyway, let's dive in and take a look at some of the results that I've gathered. Now, I've gathered all these results from my Enphase microinverters that I've had on the panels since I put the panels up back in June of 2020. So these panels have been on the roof for 3 years, have never been cleaned other than by the rain and environmental effects. So no cleaning whatsoever. We've used the Enphase microinverters that have been on the panels since the very beginning, so no changes have been made there. Panels are all original. No panels have been swapped out or changed since then. So everything should be exactly the same from then until now. We have a 5.92 kilowatt system. So if you're wondering how big the system is, it's just under 6 kilowatts. It's 16 Solaria panels. If you want to know all the information about this system and how I got it set up originally 3 years ago, you can actually just take a look at this link up here, and I'll link at the end of the video as well, where you can take a look at the playlist. I actually go through the step-by-step process of getting my solar panels installed on the house and some additional information over the course of time. So now here we are 3 years later. The panels have now been cleaned, and now we're going to take a look at some results from last year, 2022, and this year, 2023. So we're looking at the months of July, August, September, and October, and we're going to take those 4 months and we're going to kind of break them down into different ways of looking at the numbers and see if we see any benefits from actually cleaning the panels. So let's take a look at this first slide here, and we can see this is solar production from July to October, and this is going to give us 4 months an idea of what we're looking at. And now these numbers are in kilowatt hour per day, so I didn't put the kilowatt hour after every number just so it didn't look so confusing. So these are going to be our top 3 producing days for each of these months in 2022 and in 2023. So we could take a look here at July of 2022. So based on the Enphase microinverter Envoy system that's on the side of my house, we could take a look back in July of 2022, where we could see our best produced day was 31.2 kilowatt hours of energy. And as we can see, we also have a couple of days that were just below that. So our top 3 days for July. This year, we had a top day of 31.7 kilowatt hours. So that was about a half a kilowatt hour better this year. And you can see the other 2 days were also slightly better as well. Once again, top 3 days per month. So August 31.9 last year, this year 31. So almost a full kilowatt hour less on our best day in August this year. And if you look at the other numbers, they're actually slightly better last year than they were this year. Once again, lots of variables, lots of ways that this can be changed just because of weather patterns and what have you. September of last year, our best day was 28.1 kilowatt hours of energy. This year, 29. So there's the opposite, almost 1 kilowatt hour of better this year than we did last year. And as you could see from the other numbers, the number 2 and the number 3 day of the month, this year produced a lot better than last. And so now let's go into October, which just recently passed. 26.3 kilowatt hours was our best day last year. This year, it's 25.3. So 1 kilowatt hour less this year than we did last year. And as you can see in number 2 and number 3 is once again better last year than this year. So looking at these numbers, it looks like it's really just skewed either way. I mean, it looks like 1 month is better according to a single day, or maybe the top 3 days roughly, where it's better last year than this year, and sometimes it's better this year than it was last year. So this doesn't really give us any exact idea of whether or not the solar panels being cleaned benefited us at all. So let's jump in a little bit deeper now and talk about the full months. So let's take a look at the full month of July, August, September, October of 2022 versus 2023. So as we can see here, July last year, we did 720.4 kilowatt hours of energy. This year, we did 783, almost 784 kilowatt hours of energy. That is a significant increase over last year's. And once again, I'm just going to reiterate this. Yes, I understand there can be a lot of differences with the way the weather is, more sunny days, obviously. We're only looking at roughly 60 kilowatt hours, which could be only 2 extra days of sunshine versus 2 days of rain last year. But anyway, we're just, once again, just taking an average. August, 678.4 kilowatt hours last year. This year, 760.5 kilowatt hours. That is a significant increase from last year. Do I believe that's all from cleaning the solar panels? Absolutely not. That can't be all from just cleaning the solar panels. September, 625.5 kilowatt hours last year, 631.2 this year. So really just a tiny bit more than we did last year. In October, 581, this year, 579.5. So actually a little less this year than we did last year. So now looking at these numbers, does this tell me that we are benefiting a lot from cleaning the solar panels? No, not really, actually. It does look like there could be some increase in that absorption of sun. So let's jump into the totals now. And what this total is for, once again, July through October 2022 and 2023. So we can see in 2022, we produced 2,605 kilowatt hours of energy, July through October. And in 2023, we produced 2,755 kilowatt hours, July through October of this year. So we could see that we have an increase of roughly 150 kilowatt hours more this year in that 4-month period than we did one previous year ago. So now if we break this down, let's just say that that's the course of 120 days and 150 kilowatt hours, which means we only produced roughly a little more than 1 kilowatt hour per day better this year over those 4 months than we did last year over those 4 months. And so with that kind of being said, we are seeing a very small increase in our production. So 1 kilowatt hour, which is not something to just say, that's no big deal. 1 kilowatt hour could be a lot. And if you break it down a little more, if let's say we averaged over that 4 months, 20 kilowatt hours per day, if you break that down, 1 kilowatt hour more for that average would actually be a 5% increase in power. 5% every month. So I think what you need to do here is, let's just say that you can gain 5% more energy by cleaning your solar panels. So if it costed me $100 to get my solar panels cleaned every 3 years, is 5% more over the course of 3 years really worth $100 to me? And that's what you kind of have to calculate out, is how much do you pay for electricity? How much are you benefiting from the extra electricity? And how much are you really going to save by cleaning the solar panels if you pay for somebody to professionally come out and clean your panels? There's a lot of factors here. There's a lot of things that could be skewed and misrepresented just due to the way the weather is. But I can also see that there may be some benefit to actually cleaning your solar panels. So 5% over the course of 3 years may not seem like a lot. Now also keep in mind that technically you do lose about 1% of your efficiency every year from solar panels. So with that even calculated into it, am I really losing 5% over 3 years, or did I really lose like 2%? And so that's another factor you have to roll in there, is not only are your solar panels possibly degrading at a rate of roughly 1% a year, are you really going to benefit that much more from cleaning your solar panels? So that's something that you have to determine for yourself. These were my results, and like I said, yours are definitely going to vary based on where you live, how big your solar panel array is, the type of panels you have, how dirty they typically get. Do you have, tree coverage above them that could possibly drop stuff onto the panels? See, for me, I'm kind of lucky. We don't really get any, tree sap or leaves or anything like that that could fall on the panels because we don't have any large trees around the house. The worst that we can get is a little bit of pollen on the panels, which typically gets cleaned off from a rain over the course of time. But I have seen that pollen on there for quite a few weeks at a time just because of how bad it can stick to the panels. So I definitely think that there is a benefit to cleaning your solar panels. Every year? Maybe. Every 2 years? Possibly. Every 3 to 5 years? That might be where the sweet spot is, depending on, once again, your particular situation. And the other thing too I want to say is there's nothing wrong with you going out there with a hose and spraying them down every once in a while, even from the ground. Like if you could get a hose to reach up to your roof, and let's say it just hasn't rained in weeks, there's nothing wrong with going out there and spraying them down with a hose. I mean, that alone could potentially clean off a lot of dust and sediment and pollen or whatever might build up on those panels. And it might just clean them off enough until the next rainstorm comes by. Well, everybody, I hope this video kind of helped you out, kind of gave you an idea of exactly what the benefit is of cleaning your solar panels. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job of it. A professional coming out and doing it probably would do a better job of cleaning the panels, so maybe I could have benefited slightly more had I got somebody out there to come out here and actually do a professional cleaning job. Is it worth paying somebody to do it? Well, honestly, after doing this myself once, I'm probably not going to be doing it again. It is a little scary up on the roof with a bunch of things in your hand trying to clean your solar panels. I honestly don't believe it's worth it. I would highly recommend paying somebody to come out, clean the solar panels, just get it done correctly. Anyway, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up just below. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them down below the video as well. I'm curious to see if you've cleaned your solar panels. Did you see a benefit? Did you see a gain from cleaning your solar panels versus just leaving them for years and years and years without being cleaned? And how did you do it? Did you do it yourself? Did you hire somebody? What was the cost of getting it done? And was it worth it to you to have somebody else do it versus trying to do it yourself? Anyway, I'm really curious, so make sure you leave down in the comments below. Anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for watching this episode today. And of course, we'll see you on the next episode. And make sure you subscribe, and make sure you take a look back at some of our solar videos from 3 years ago when we initially put the solar panels up. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.